Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is AnaJolene and I'm the author of the Glory MC series, the Moonrise Beach series, and the new Heartbreaker series. So I want to do a video I've never done before. Today I want to kind of wrap up 2025 and do kind of like a top 10 favorite inks of 2025. I think it'll be a nice way to kind of wrap up the year and also a good way to kind of document my favorite inks that I loved this year. I also want to do like a video on like my favorite pens of the year, so maybe that will be like part 2 of this video. But I have my ink journal here. I did switch out to the Love and Trip Red TN cover. So I just put all of my inserts back in here. So let's go ahead and start to fill this in. I have chosen 10 inks here that I want to swatch. And these are my favorite inks for the year. So let's go ahead and get started. The tools I will be using are my Pilot dip pen. This is with a medium nib, and then I also have my swatch tool, which you can find in my shop. It's nice because it swatches really nicely, and I love that it doesn't waste too much ink. It's also great for cleanup. I have some tissue paper here and a glass of water here on the side. So let's get started. Okay, so I've kind of arranged my inks in kind of like the order of when I realized that I really love these inks. So I have 10 inks here. These are my favorite inks of the year. These are also the inks that I kind of discovered this year that I really fell in love with. So I have other inks that I love in my collection from previous years, but they are not mentioned in this video. Maybe I will do a separate video that kind of covers like my all-time favorite inks, because like Pilot, Yamabudo, and Tsukio, and many others would be in here in this video, but I don't want to keep mentioning them just because I have mentioned them before on my channel. And I'm pretty sure you guys know that I love those inks already. So I wanted to feature some new ones here that maybe I haven't talked about as much because they only came into my collection this year. So that's kind of like the condition that I put upon myself to pick out these inks. So I would love to know what your top favorite inks are. So leave them down below, and if you have any like color suggestions for other inks, let me know if you have any recommendations. So let's go ahead and get started. I am gonna start off with a Ferris wheel press ink, and this one is called Billowing Blush. In the springtime earlier this year, this color I used so much. It is a shimmer ink. It has a green gold shimmer to it, and I just love it. I use this a lot in my TN journal, and every time I use this ink I got a lot of compliments on it. So this does have shimmer. I love to use it in my TWSBI pens because those TWSBI pens take shimmer very well. So I'm gonna do like a quick swatch here at the top, and then we'll just write the ink name beside it, and we'll do that for each of the inks here. So you can see the shimmer coming through already. I love the shimmer. This color might actually be like my favorite ink from Ferris wheel press. I just love it. So my first one here is Ferris wheel press Billowing Blush, and I know a lot of you guys really love this ink as well, because I see it in your journals a lot too. So I do have a discount code to Ferris wheel press. If you would like to try out this ink, I will leave their website as well as my discount code down below. But it's a beautiful blush color, like I said. Goes so well with a lot of the sticker kits from my collection, and it's my most complimented color of ink from people on Instagram and also in real life. So that says something. So that is the packaging for Billowing Blush. I do have another pink, and this pink is from the Sailor Manual line. I got it this year. And again, I used it a lot in the springtime. I thought this brighter pink was perfect for matching with the Refresh kit and the Rose Garden kits from my shop. So I use this one a lot when journaling with those kits. So this one is called Asagiri. It means morning fog. I absolutely love the bottles of these Sailor Manual inks. They are amazing, very sturdy, beautiful bottles, and I especially love this color. I got a few colors from Sailor this year, and you'll see I have a lot of Sailor inks, but this one is actually one of my favorites that I got. And it reminds me a little bit of Pilot Tsutsuji, which is actually a discontinued ink now. It's not an exact match, it just reminds me of it. But if you have trouble finding that discontinued ink from Pilot, I would recommend picking up this one because this one is still available. So again, this is Sailor Manual Asagiri. It's a slightly brighter pink, but like I said, I really enjoyed this color during the springtime. That's when I really used it the most and when I fell in love with it. So that one is my second ink. I have a few more Sailor inks coming up. If you watch my Currently Ink videos, you may have seen me become obsessed with the Sailor Urameko inks. These are chroma shading inks, and there were two in particular that I got this year that I really, really love. The first one is a green ink, and it's actually the only green ink that is on this list. And I just love this color because it's kind of like a muted green. There's a little bit of pink shading through it, a little bit of like lilac as well. It's so unique. And like I said, I went through a phase of chroma shading inks towards the spring summer seasons, and this one was my favorite one that I got. So again, this is from Sailor. This is from the Urameko line, which all of them are pretty much chroma shading inks in that line. So I got several from that collection, and I really fell in love with a lot of these colors. So this one is called Amamoyoi. This is definitely my favorite green of this year. Okay, the other Urameko is It's Zora, and again, this is another chroma shading ink. This is actually a kind of like dusty blue color. It's my only blue in this lineup, and you can see in the swatch here why I love it. It's more of a mild dusty blue color. There's again pinks and purples in it. It is so pretty. So this one is called It's Zora. And I just love how it looks when you use like a broader nib with it. It looks so pretty. So this one is my favorite blue, and I paired it very often with my Sailor Grateful Crane, and I felt like that combination was just perfect. My favorite blue pen and ink combo of the year for sure. So I really, really enjoyed this color. I inked it up quite a few times this year. So those are the two Urameko inks that I became obsessed with this year. And then I have one more Sailor ink, but this is from the Shikiori line. This is my favorite brown ink. I actually have another ink that's also brown, but this one is more of like a mousy, kind of like mocha color. I use this a lot when I got my TWSBI Diamond Affogato Onyx. I use that combo a ton, and it wrote so well. So that is what made me love this ink. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this ink came out this year. I also got a few other ones, but this one was my favorite in that haul that I did. So you can see the color here. So this is when we started moving into fall a little more. So I'm going more into like the deeper, darker colors. So this one is Sailor Shikiori. There are a lot of Sailor inks here because they are my faves. So Sailor Shikiori, and it's called Kamoshika. I hear a lot of people calling it Kamoshika, but it's called Kamoshika. So there we go. Really pretty. I'll do close-ups of this at the end of the video so you can see it in more detail. All right, so let's move on to my second favorite, brown. I got this color this year. I think it also came out this year, or maybe it was last year's release. This one is the Pilot Iroshizuku Shungyo, and this this Pilot line is my favorite ink line. I absolutely love it. I love how pigmented the colors in this line are. I love how wet they are. I think they have a pretty good color selection that you can use in your journals and planners. They're also really good inks to use at the workplace too. So yeah, I use these inks quite a bit. So this ink is a brown, but it has more of a purple undertone to it. So that's why I gravitated to this color. I think it's just gorgeous. So I'm just gonna write here, Pilot Iroshizuku. Again, I use this ink so much in the fall. I think it's perfect. So I just love that kind of like purpley undertone that it has. I think it makes it quite unique. I am disappointed that they discontinued the other brown, but this one is a really good one. So I'm glad to have that in my collection. Okay, so we're getting down to the wire now. I have another Pilot Iroshizuku ink. Like I said, I love this line. And then this is the color that I used quite a lot in the winter. So we're jumping a little to the next season, but I want to put my Pilot inks together. So this one is called Fuyu Shogun, which means Old Man Winter. And this is a blue-gray. If you want to compare it to the top blue, Zora is definitely more on the blue side, a little brighter. This one is definitely on the gray, and that's why I love it. I love my blue grays. This year I really fell in love with like dusty blue colors like this, and also blue grays. So this is my favorite blue gray that I have in my collection. So again, Pilot Iroshizuku. Fuyu Shogun. And you can see even with like a dip pen, these inks write so effortlessly. Okay, so that one is my second favorite Pilot ink. I have one Diamine ink here, and this one really stood out to me because it actually matches the Love and Trip TN. So this TN that came out earlier this year is the dark red TN from the Love and Trip collection, and I felt like this color, Diamine Syrah, S-Y-R-A-H, complemented it so well. I did do a collection in my shop called Harvest Blessings, and I basically made that collection to go with the red TN that I love so much. I really fell in love with this red TN. And so I wanted a sticker collection and an ink to kind of go with it. So I found that the Kaweco Sport Bordeaux color was a perfect match to the TN cover. And I picked out this ink to pair with that pen. And like I said, I really fell in love with it. I used it so often when using that sticker kit in my shop. So this is Diamine Syrah, S-Y-R-A-H. And it's a dark, deep, kind of burgundy color. I love dark red colors, like Diamine Rider's Blood is like my favorite. I love Ox Blood as well. But this one, it has more of a like berry undertone to it. So like I said, I really liked it because it matched my TN this year. This dark red color was kind of like my favorite thing of the year. Okay, I do have one more Ferris Wheel Press ink. And this is my purple ink of the year that I really enjoyed. This is called Auroralis, and I believe it was a limited edition from 2024. I actually have this inked up in my TWSBI Diamond Mini, and I'm really enjoying it. It is such a beautiful color. You can see the kind of like pink gold shimmer. So I have two shimmer inks this year in my favorites, and they're actually both from Ferris Wheel Press. Again, I enjoyed this color because I had a collection called Moody Reader in my shop, and it's quite dark. So it has like dark greens and dark purples, and I wanted something that had shimmer in it as well because I used it a lot around Halloween. So this is the color that I fell in love with around that time. So I wanted to include it in my favorites. So let's go ahead and write here Ferris Wheel Press Auroralis. I love the shimmer. It actually looks a little bit more pink than gold when the shimmer kind of shines through, but it's so beautiful. You can see that I kind of went more for the cool tone colors this year. There aren't too many warm tones. However, I am diving into more of the warm tones currently. So perhaps next year I will have more warm tones. That's kind of one of my goals for next year, is to explore more warm tone inks. And then the last ink that I want to share, it's kind of a boring one, but it's actually my most used ink, and it is Platinum Carbon Black. This is a permanent waterproof ink, my favorite ink that I like to use in my Pilot Decimos, which is a capless pen. I use this every day for work. That is why it has to be on my list, because it's my most used ink. I can't tell you how many times I inked up my pen with the exact same ink. It's just my go-to. So if you're looking for a really good black ink, you can't go wrong with Platinum Carbon Black. In my opinion, it's the best one out there. Very easy to get as well, so I will leave a link to all of these inks down below so you guys can try them out for yourself if you haven't already. But these are my top 10 favorite inks of 2025. They are not in a specific order necessarily, but I kind of put them in the order of when I kind of discovered them and loved them. So I think on this page what I will do is actually film a different video going over my favorite pens of 2025 25, and that way I will have my inks here and then my pens here, so it'll look nice in one spread. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'm just gonna wait until this dries and we'll zoom in so you guys can see the swatches up close. But let me know which one of these inks is your favorite, and if you have any recommendations for inks for me to try, please let me know them down in the comments. Okay, so not all the inks are completely dry yet. However, I just want to show you all of the colors here. You can see some of the shimmer coming through with the Ferris wheel press inks, and then hopefully you guys can see a little bit of the chroma shading in these two inks here from the Sailor Yurameku line. But yeah, I just really enjoyed these colors. Like I said, they're a little bit more on the cool tone side. So next year, I'm definitely gonna try my best to explore more warm tone colors so that we can discover some new favorites. But these are my favorite inks of 2025. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!